Glyos. It's a universal peg and socket system letting independent toy producers create fun and inventive figures with totally interchangeable parts. This week, I'm going to tell you about some of my favorite producers of these toys. A good place to start is 481 Universe, otherwise known as NiStuff, helmed by Nicholas Mers. Taking his interest in space and all things cosmic, he set out to create a figure that could fit in with the Onell cast of Traveler aliens, and thus gave rise to the Outlanders. There's a lot of retro space styling going on in this design, from the ridged areas resembling padding to the giant space helmet. Right off the bat, I'll tell you that's one of the more interesting things about the toy. The concept is to have a removable helmet, revealing a far more humanoid head underneath than most Glyos toys have. The idea is to create a more relatable aesthetic, but to fit in with your usual fade-ins and travelers, he has to wear the helmet. It's an interesting concept, adding some characterization to the figure, and a great bit of design, which could either be interpreted as a helmet with a large visor, or an alien head with the eyes painted below it. That's something most of these have in common, clever use of parts resulting in different looks just from rearranging things. The Outlander in particular has a torso that can flip, lining up the ridge details into full shoulder pads, which I kinda prefer the look of. With 14 points of articulation, the little guy can pull off some great poses, though don't expect anything too dramatic. The drawback to articulating Glyos toys is everything is usually a swivel, so these kinda throw back to action figures of the 90s, just with a lot more swivel points. The Outlander's helped by the permanent elbow bend, which lets him pose in ways other Glyos figures can't in their standard builds. Speaking of, your typical Outlander is an 18-piece figure, with lots of bits that work well with Onell's creations. It also includes 2 switch pins hidden in the feet. This lets 2 sockets connect together, and it is your best friend when building your own creations. For building, I find Outlanders work best creating other humanoid creations. In particular, Onell's cast of aliens work great for part swapping and combining. The fun part to Glyos is, though, since it's a building toy, you're only limited by your imagination. So if you want to build an inhuman beast, that's fine, do that. Something you'll learn as the week goes on, every Glyos producer has their own tricks to keep things interesting, and they all offer unique additions to their standard toys. In the case of NiStuff, the man is a certified head case. Just look at this gallery on his site. He sculpted all of these. It's a huge list, it just keeps going. Most figures he releases also release alongside accessory packs, mostly additional heads to further customize their appearance. These are all interesting in their own way, with robots and aliens to pick from, even a helmet piece to add to the part count without adding too much to the cost. Of particular interest, one head is distinctly feminine, a rarity amongst Glyos toys. Then there's my favorite head that has some xenomorph flavor to it. Looks like something I'd talk to in Mass Effect. Packs come with optional parts too, like alternate hip components and ankle extenders that let you digigrade the legs, upping the alien factor even more. Not enough? The bonus pieces also include minifigures called anomalies. These are one-piece toys and are a throwback to some of NiStuff's first creations. They're a funky aesthetic, especially this guy. Looks like something I ate at a Star Wars LARP. Haven't played a Klingon since. But it's kinda cool when a bunch of these get together, and he sells separate packs of them for people into the design. NiStuff has one other trick that I really like. Along with a shop full of production figures, he's got a storefront for custom works as well, using not only some of the non-production heads, but some completely unique resin parts as well, and all with custom paint jobs. They aren't even limited to his own parts, there's Glyos bits from all over on these things. The man is a mad scientist of cobbled toys, like Sid from Toy Story, except with much better design taste. This menu is usually refilled after a major convention, like New York Comic Con, where a friend of mine visited NiStuff's booth and grabbed this little badass for me. Yeah, he's a little Agito, isn't he? The red hoverbike kinda helps that too, but regardless, it's an awesome little guy. Now these are semi-precious, not to be played with, but they are truly one-of-a-kind toys, so if one grabs you, it's amazing to own just knowing nobody else has anything like it. For the toys that are to be played with, collectors dig Outlanders for their mix of old and new cosmic styles and their high compatibility to the O'Neill line of toys. For newbies, Outlanders are a great option if you're worried about getting bored with the appearance of a toy. With plenty of extra heads lying around, it's easy to change it into something you're more in the mood for. This is a happy mood. This is an angry mood. This is an indifferent mood. This... I need therapy mood. Now that you've had your first lesson in the world of Glyos, here's some extra credit to study that applies to all Glyos brands. Not going to lie, the first thing you're going to notice on these is the price tag. For toys that average 3.5 inches tall at best, these seem a lot pricier than what you're going to find at Toys R Us at that size. Even in the major lines, a DX figure can go as high as $30, and other designer toys can approach almost $100. There's a lot of reasons for this that we'll cover over the week. For now, consider this. These are not toys like you know them. They aren't market tested. There are no focus groups, no fancy gimmicks worked in. They aren't play tested to see what colors kids like, or put in fancy packaging to make them stand out in a toy aisle. Glyos toys are produced by people with a passion for toys, who want to make their vision real, drawing, sculpting, and producing their raw imagination into tangible plastic. It's like buying a mass-produced piece of art, but not like a cheap printout they frame and sell at Walmart. And better yet, this is art you can play with. Please, touch the exhibits, rip them apart if you like, have a ball. It really is a throwback to the days when a toy was created by an artisan, not a computer calculating measurements and angles, which just makes them that much more special.